Hey everyone, I am back today because can you believe it? It has been 1 year since I found out about Dave Ramsey and started Dave Ramsey's Baby Steps. I went and found my old Erin Condren planner from last year, and at this time last year, a friend of mine at work introduced me to Dave Ramsey. I had never heard of him. And she lent me her book, The Total Money Makeover, and I read it, and I was immediately hooked. I went on YouTube, and I started watching his videos, and I watched or listened to his podcast on his website. I started getting into other YouTube channels like Gazelle Intense and Budget Girl and Our Life on a Budget and all of these amazing channels. And it inspired me to immediately do something about this financial crisis that we are having. Now, back then, my husband and I were married, but we had separate finances. So when I read the book, this is actually what I did. You can see that I wrote down all of the baby steps, took notes on it, and then I wrote down my debts. Now this is kind of messy because I updated it throughout. So at the time I had 3 credit cards and my student loans. And I needed to start paying on my student loans starting that month, if not it was November. So I wrote down how much I had on every single credit card and how much student loans I had. And at the time, I had $65,139.82. And I was in shock. I had always thought that, I'll get a job right out of college and I'll pay off my student loans right away. It's no big deal, which unfortunately that was not the case. With the whole financial crisis in 2008 and then what's happened in teaching, especially in Wisconsin lately, it was very difficult to find a job in social studies as a teacher. So I didn't get a job right away like expected. And I put things on credit cards when I shouldn't have. We got married young, and some of that went on credit cards for certain purchases that didn't need to. We should have saved more ahead of time. That's another story. But so I wrote down the baby steps, and I wrote down how much debt I was in, and I talked to John about it, and he just thought that it was like another, get out of debt, scam kind of thing, So it took a while to get him on board, but I started with writing my first budget, and I wrote it on paper to start, and then I discovered everydollar.com, and I fell in love right away. All right, found my first budget. I printed these out. I have them in a binder, and this is the first budget that I made, that I went through the entire month on a budget. So I planned that for teaching I was going to make $1,500, and then after school I was a daycare worker, and $500. So I was working with $2,000, and I made a lot more than that. I made $571 more. And I'm just looking at here, and it's funny to look at everything of how much I spent then till now. So what I'm focusing on is debt. Now, then I was putting $500 I paid that month towards my debt. Now this is by myself, but now we are paying over $2,000 a month towards debt. I mean, I'm just proud in that number alone. So in that month, I paid off the first credit card on October 16th. That only had $185 on it. The next month in November, I paid off the next credit card that had $431. And I made a decision to actually open up another credit card. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, what? Why would you do that? Well, the reason why is because it had no interest for 15 months, and I knew that I was going to stick to this plan and not put anything more on my credit card. But what I could do was transfer money from my biggest credit card that had over $7,000 on it transfer some of that to the other one, and then pay it in smaller increments. Now, it probably didn't save me that much money on interest, but it did help me feel like I was making more progress, because $7,000 is a lot to process and a lot to pay off. And I felt like it was such a big number. Now I'm looking at my student loans, it's not that big of a number. But by taking, $750 at a time and putting it on this other card and then paying it off, it made me feel like I was making progress. Now, is that the smartest thing? Not for everyone, but it worked for me. And then I started, so we paid off that one. I'll link the video that we became credit card debt free. And then my focus is on student loans. So that's what I've been paying. Now to start, I had about a little over $57,000 in student loans. And that didn't really change much in the next 8 months after I started Dave Ramsey, because I was just paying the minimum payment and focusing on those credit cards. So it was really tough to see, because interest rates on those, I think when I ended up really starting to pay on my student loans, it was over $57,000. So I just checked, and I am now at total debt, $54,986.30. So in 1 year, we paid off $10,153.52. Now, that's awesome. For the first year, I'm really excited about that. A lot of stuff has changed. One, our financials are now together. We are doing this together. I am making more than I was when I started, and I'm not using credit cards. I'm putting a lot into paying off debt, and we have a big chunk of savings, which is incredible. I just feel like I'm more in control of my money, and I'm telling it where to go, and it's really liberating. Now, it is difficult knowing that, other people are buying houses and having a family, but I know that once we are out of debt, we can enjoy those things debt-free. I also did a calculation on when we will be debt-free. And originally when I started this a year ago, I said, I want us to be debt-free by 30. Now, my husband thought I was crazy, but I said, no, we can do this. So we were 25 at the time, and so that means in 5 years to be debt-free. I have now cut it back to January of 2019, which is before we even turned 29. That's incredible. I really hope that that's my ultimate goal. If we stay on track of what we're doing now, we should be able to reach that goal, no problem. So that's super exciting. That's a lot sooner than I thought, which means that we can easily get a house and start a family when we turn 30. And I really, that's incredible because, I've never traveled. My husband hasn't done a whole lot either. I would love to enjoy those things and not have to worry about money. All right. So, last thing. So I had my credit card payoff sheet here. That's obviously filled out because we are now credit card debt free. And I have my loans in 2 separate categories, you could say. That was something else that I did, is consolidate some of my loans. Now, Dave Ramsey talks about this a lot on whether consolidation is good or not, and it really depends. For me, I was able to pick and choose which ones I wanted to consolidate, and it ended up being like a lower interest rate for me. Yes, that means that I'm not paying off those loans individually, and it's a larger chunk, but it is what it is. So my Stafford loans, which I think I started with, it's 4 loans, and it was 3 of them at 3.15% interest, and then one of them at 5.16% interest, and then the rest of mine are at like 5 something. So originally this one was at over $16,000. It is now at $13,000. So I'm going to update my chart on that coming up. So I will update you guys more often on that chart, show you where we're at. But I was just really excited to share with you guys that we have paid off now more than $10,000. And on the track that we are now, I think in the next year that we can easily pay off $20,000 worth of debt, if not more. It's definitely, 25,000 would be fantastic. That's like really my goal. But to double the amount compared to last year, $10,000 last year, do $20,000 this year, that's incredible. So I'm really proud of our progress, and I'm excited to see the outcome. So I wanted to update you guys on that, and I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope I inspired you. And if you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, so you can keep on track with me. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys soon in my next video. Bye.